What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to The Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I talk about all of the things that I like to read. Today I am going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. It is that time of year already. I cannot believe we are basically midway through 2022. It happened so fast. The purpose of the tag is a bit of a check-in for the year so far, to point out a few notable reads, a look ahead to what's coming in the second half of the year, so let's get started. Prompt number 1. What is the best book you've read this year? This actually just happened. There was just an upset at the top for me. I recently read Christopher Ruccio's Empire of Silence, and I'm just still thinking about this book, all of the things that happened, the beautiful way that it is written and constructed. I'm in love, and I do believe this is going to be a top favorite series overall. That is all genres. I know those are strong words for only having read the first book in this series, but I feel very, very strongly for this one. I just absolutely loved it. Prompt number 2, what is the best sequel you have read so far this year? And I have to go with The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. This book was so good. It is my favorite book of the trilogy. Already looking forward to rereading this trilogy in the coming winter months. It's a beautiful Russian-inspired fairy tale. That's how I would describe it. The author draws on a lot of history from Russia to build this story, and I just think she does a wonderful job. I love the character work, and of course, one of my favorite animal companions. Actually, I don't know that I would call Solovey an animal companion. He was really more of a character than a companion, I would say. Prompt number 3, what is a new release you want to read but you haven't read yet? That is Seasonal Affairs by Shauna Maguire. I would have loved to have sat down to read this book the day that it came out. All the best laid plans, right? I got sick, and then just one thing led to another, and I couldn't read for like 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm extremely behind. As of date of filming, I still haven't gotten to read it yet, but I am hoping beyond hope I'm able to catch up on everything I need to get caught up on so I can read that. Seasonal Affairs is the sequel to Middle Game from the Alchemical Journey series. And I actually haven't seen anyone cover this book yet, so I don't know how it's being received. I need to look up some reviews and see what people are saying. Prompt number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm trying to remember all of the books that I have pre-ordered this year. There's been a lot. Barnes & Noble did a sale, 25% off pre-orders, and I just got a whole bunch of them. The only one that immediately jumps to mind when I read this prompt is Fairy Tale by Stephen King, which is coming out, I believe, in early September. I am so excited. I love his Dark Tower series, his fantasy series that he's written, so I can't wait to see what he has in store for us with this story. Prompt number 5, biggest disappointment for 2022 so far for me is going to be The Free Bastards by Jonathan French. It's the 3rd book in his Lotlands trilogy, and it just missed the mark. There was honestly nothing about this book that I liked, and in fact I would not even recommend the series. Even though the first 2 books were amazing, I love them almost every step of the way. I have no complaints on those. This one really soiled the series for me, and I have no intention of rereading it and will be unhauling the entire series. Prompt number 6 is, what is your biggest surprising read of the year? And that for me is going to be S.A. Chakraborty's The City of Brass. This one I honestly thought I was not going to like. The 2 characters we spend the most time with in the beginning, I didn't care for either one of them. It seemed that it was going to be a romance story, and because I didn't really care for the characters, I was not going to be hanging around for a romance. Luckily, the 3rd POV, Prince Ali, I loved him, and then we started getting into political scheming, and it turns out the romance was very short-lived. At least the physical romance part of the story, that was so short-lived. As it turns out, I love the story. I love the 2nd book even more than the first one, and it's become a series I've really gotten invested in. And in the 2nd book, I ended up really falling in love with all of the characters. So I haven't finished the trilogy yet. As of time of recording, I still have the third one left to go, and I'm very excited and hope to be getting into that one soon. Prompt number 7 is new favorite character. That, hands down, no contest, is going to be Orca from John Gwynn's The Bloodsworn trilogy. I love how John Gwynn didn't just make her one good thing. Like, she's not just a badass mom. She's not just an amazing female warrior. She is many things, and there's a few things that I won't mention that she is, so you can discover those organically as you read this amazing series. Absolutely loved it. If you did not like John Gwynn's The Faithful and the Fallen series, this is completely different. It's Norse-inspired mythology that is just brought to life in an amazing way. I love the series. I cannot wait for the third book. Prompt number 8 is, what is the book that made you cry? The only one I can remember sobbing over is Waking Ursa Minor by Helen Ry Peterson. It is the first book in her epic fantasy series, Riverda Rising. And there's lots of reasons that I cry. Sometimes it's happiness for a character, grief, loss, just sadness. I actually think there was a time that I had tears of anger. I was just plain mad. It's a fantastic story. And then the follow-up prompt to that is, what is a book that made you happy? That is going to be Stringers by Chris Panettiere. This is a sci-fi story that had me laughing so much. It just brought me joy. The entire time I read this book, I was having a great time. It's got an amazing friendship in it. It's got found family in it. It just has adventure in it. I loved it. It's a very unique story. I've never read anything like it before. I cannot wait to read more by Chris Panettiere, but this book was just an absolute joy. It's one that I will use to cure if I have a book hangover, if I'm very sad at the end of a series, or I need help breaking out of a slump. This book will be extremely useful in all of those situations to help cure that. The next prompt is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought this year? And I think I will have to go with the Broken Binding subscription service. The first book in that series is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. It's First Law. This is the hardback, and it's got the gorgeous foil on it with the quote on the side. I absolutely love it. Of course, we've got the stenciled edges. I'm obsessed with this series, with the author, and with this book, this edition. It's signed and numbered and all of that fun stuff. But I believe this is one of the only, of course I have the entire trilogy from the Broken Binding subscription, but I believe this is the only limited edition books I have gotten in 2022. My dumb self forgot a prompt. Favorite new author so far in 2022, and that is going to be C.K. McDonald, author of the Stranger Times series and the Dublin trilogy. Oh, you thought I only forgot one prompt? Let's try 2. Who is your newest fictional crush in 2022? That is Prince Ali from S.A. Chakraborty's City of Brass. And then the very last prompt, what are the books that you need to read by the end of the year? How much time do y'all have? Because I have hundreds of books that I would love to read by the end of the year. Are there any that I have to read by the end of the year? No, they're all wants. These are all books I want to read. I want to read 100 books a month if I could. At least I will never run out of things to read, and honestly, I cannot ask for more than that. Guys, that is going to wrap up the mid-year book freakout tag. What has been your favorite book of the year or your biggest surprise? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.